There is no way he's getting out of this shelf. You have no idea how long I've been trying to put the books back. Hey friends, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah from Pies and Prose, and today we're switching it up a little bit. We're doing something a little different, and that is thanks to my patrons. They actually voted for this video this week, and they voted on doing a mini bookshelf tour. So what is the difference between a bookshelf tour in general and a mini bookshelf tour? I decided that I'm going to actually share with you one designated shelf on my entire bookcase as part of the tour instead of showing you the entire bookcase because I have a lot of books. Y'all know I like books, so it would be an enormously long video if I went through every single book, and hence why we're going to be doing a mini one. So I'm going to take you through a random shelf on my bookcase. You'll see which one in a moment. I actually organize my books based on like topics and genres and things like that, so you'll see very soon that I have a very specific shelf that I'll be sharing with you today. And I thought that if this video does well, if you end up liking it, we can do this as part of like a mini series, just show you different parts of my bookcase periodically if you're into that. So if you do end up liking this video, definitely like the video and let me know in the comments so that I know that you're interested. We can keep this going. You're about to see which very specific, it's very specific shelf that I picked for today's mini shelf tour, and let's just get into it so you can see which one I picked. Okay, so these are my shelves. We're about to go and pick one. I'm literally gonna randomly pick one right now. And I just wanted to let you know. Logan is ready. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go all the way down here, and excuse the noise because I have a creaky floor, but we're going down to the very bottom shelf, all the way at the bottom. And this shelf in particular, as you can probably tell already, is themed, and this shelf theme is true crime. So if you are a big true crime fan, here you go. I'm about to go into all of the true crime books that I have on my shelf right now. So I think I'm just going to go one by one, just literally take them off the shelf and show you each one. So the first one is, so this one is the Big Book of Serial Killers, an encyclopedia of serial killers. If you are not a true crime fan, I know this might end up being completely bizarre to you, but one particular interest I have in true crime are serial killers. I don't think that's an uncommon thing, but yeah, so it might be disturbing to you. I apologize if it is, but yeah, I've got this book. It is an encyclopedia. It's pretty simple on the inside. It just has names of well-known serial killers on the top, and then it just goes into sort of some quote-unquote fun facts. I don't know how else to say that. Maybe like a fact sheet, if you will. And the whole book looks like that, like a fact sheet for each serial killer. And I like that because it's not dense. I can actually read this quite quickly if I want to reference it really quickly. I know that sounds nerdy, but I can totally do that. And yeah, it's just a really approachable and absorbable encyclopedia. Next one, it is the crime book, Big Ideas Simply Explained. So this is another simplified type of book. I think I got this as a gift. I really like it because there are photos, and again, it's not your average encyclopedia. It has images, it has cool little boxes, it has cool graphics and texts and fonts. So it's really absorbable, again, especially for something that can get really dense depending on what you're reading. And this book, this true crime book in particular, covers a lot of different crimes. So you can see things like white collar crimes, con artists, arsonists, robbers, serial killers, of course, and some really popular murder cases that have come up in modern history. So this one's really cool. It has a large variety of things that you can read about, and it's interesting. I really like the photos in it and the colors. It just seems sort of like a graphic novel. which I think is cool. Moving on to this one, I really like this one. It is another encyclopedia. Don't ask me why I like encyclopedias when it comes to true crime. This one I've had for a long time. I got when I was like a teenager. When I first got this one, it was my very first in the collection. I used to just read page by page. There's a lot of information and I highlighted a lot of critical information. So with the first book that I showed, the first encyclopedia, that one was more of like a fact sheet, so it was easier to point out some critical information, whatever you find most interesting. But in this one, because it's a little bit more dense, there are photos and it is an interesting like layout, but when you want to find like key information, you kind of have to just read through it. So that's why I highlighted these things, and I still like it. I still find it very, very interesting. With these encyclopedias, they can get really outdated. I like that it goes through a ton of different people, people that you might have never heard of from all parts of the world. I like this one a lot, even though it's outdated. Let's keep going. Oh, this one is actually a magazine. I didn't realize this was on my shelf. The World's Scariest Places. This isn't necessarily true crime forward, but it does have some true crime elements in it, such as murder houses, as you can see. Again, this is just something really absorbable. I do like magazines, so I do pick them up every once in a while, especially ones that I know that I can keep for a long time. And this one, for sure, I can keep because it's like a little mini book. It has photos, it has fun fact, it has a lot of interesting photos. Right in the front, it had the Manson murder house listed. So yeah, definitely true crime. And I'm sure you can't find this anywhere, so sorry, I won't be able to recommend it because it's probably hard to find, but it is very cool, and I do recommend checking out some magazines if you can get your hands on some. Okay, moving on, we have another textbook. Oh gosh, I'm such a nerd. Fun fact about the textbooks. I went through a phase. I wanted to take a forensics class because when I was in high school, I actually took a forensics class and it was so much fun. So I wanted to take it to another level, and I just can't find any online courses on forensics. So I went and I bought some textbooks, and that's why I have these, you know, just textbooks. I just got this to, you know, just learn some more. As you can see, I also did some highlights in here. So yeah, I was definitely taking notes. Oh, okay, the next one, oh, this is so heavy. This one is another textbook I got at the same exact time as the previous textbook. And like I said before, textbooks get outdated for science so fast, so these are most likely extremely outdated, but they are still interesting and they still have useful information if you're interested in looking them up. Can't really remember for sure, but I remember reading one of these textbooks in an airplane because I took one as sort of an airplane read, some cool historical facts and the origin of certain true crime stuff. So this one is another really educational forward one. And if you are interested in textbooks like this, true crime textbooks, whatever, and you don't mind it being slightly outdated, you can find these on like textbook websites and they're super, super cheap. If you can find them slightly outdated, even if it's just 1 year outdated, they can be really cheap. On to the next one, and I think this is the last of my larger ones. This one is the Crime Archives, Inside the Minds of Today's Deadliest Criminals. When I opened it up to flip through it, I saw that there were really interactive things like folders. Look at this, like actual folders. And when you go into the folders, there are files. Obviously they're not originals, but they are like duplicates, and they are really fascinating files. It's just really cool to go through them and make the experience a little bit more fun for you if you're interested in that kind of thing. I honestly thought it was really interesting. I saw that there were some exclusive photos in this, and that is what intrigued me because I really enjoy photos as part of the reading experience. I think with true crime, having photos, it's also really interesting and fascinating, depending on the photo, of course. I'm not like a complete creep, but yeah, these had some really cool photos. Again, really absorbable, easy to read, fun, interactive. Okay, now on to the shorter books. Not shorter books, but smaller books and more narrative-based books. So the first one we have here is The Good Nurse, a true story of medicine, madness, and murder. Now, I got this book as sort of a surprise. Local bookstores or small bookstores, they have this cool thing where they wrap up books, put a little bit of a blurb on the front. I forgot what it's called. Maybe a book blind date. And so you don't know what the book is, but you have a little bit of background information on it, and then you buy it based on that. This was one of those books that I bought in terms of that. It seems really interesting, but I've never read it yet. I did start it and it was going pretty well. It is about the Angel of Death, which if you look that up, it's quite fascinating. And yeah. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Next one here, this one is Black Dahlia Red Rose. So I was waiting for a different book to come out and it hadn't come out yet, so I needed to get my fix, and so I got a different book, and this is that book. And I still haven't finished reading it, which is just so terrible, but I did start it and it was going really, really well. Of course, it's about Black Dahlia. If you don't know about the story, it is quite interesting and intense, and there is an infamous photo. I'm not going to completely disclose what it is because it might be disturbing for some people, but if you want to look it up, you can look it up. But this story is super, super interesting. Just the story itself. This book words it in a way that's more so narrative as opposed to super nonfiction. Does that make sense? Like, it's less dense and more of like a story-driven kind of narrative, which I really appreciate, especially when it comes to nonfiction. Sometimes it's hard for me to really get into the story when it's nonfiction. I can't 100% recommend it because I haven't finished it, but so far, so good. So if you do end up picking this one up, let me know what you think. I had a great start to it. Next one might not come as a surprise to some people. This one is highly, highly popular and well known in the true crime community, and everyone knows who Anne Rule is in the true crime community. The Stranger Beside Me, this is a story about Ted Bundy. Who doesn't know who Ted Bundy is, right? I haven't read this at all. I received it for free actually from Gallery Books because I am a Bookstagram ambassador with them. So they do send me books occasionally. I just got it from them because, one, I partner with them, but also I know I'm going to enjoy it, and one day when I eventually read it, I will enjoy it because it has just such great reviews revolving around it. And also, I just felt like it was a classic, like it says at the bottom, true crime classic, and I thought it would be great to have it as part of my shelf. So that's mainly why I have it on my shelf, and one day I will get to it. If you like this one, let me know what you think. Oh, this next one is so much fun. This one is called Lady Killers by TORI Telfer. So I actually went to a reading at one of my local bookstores. I think the event was about horror, and so people were reading horror stories out loud, their own or from a book that they like, and the author was there, and she actually didn't read a piece from her book, this book, but she did sort of like an anecdotal podcasty style story about something that is in this book, and it really intrigued me. It captivated me, and she was such a great speaker, and she does have a podcast. I don't know if she still has it, but she had a podcast at the time. I picked up the book right there and then, and it was really cool. This book is actually like an anthology. It has several stories about different killers, and like it says from the title, it's all lady killers. The writing style in this is like you're reading a podcast. Just imagine a podcast but in written form. That is the writing style. So it's so easy to read, and it's a lot of fun. It makes you laugh, like literally laugh out loud. So I 100% recommend this one. Oh my gosh, Logan, get out of the way. Ugh. Okay. The next one is My Friend Anna. So this is a really new story that just came out. And again, this is another one that I got gifted by Gallery Books, and this story was very captivating. This is about Anna Delvey, who basically conned a whole ton of people, dupes a lot of people, cons a lot of people, and ends up looking like a celebrity almost in the real world, but it is all a lie. And I don't know, something about that is really captivating, and Gallery Books knows that too, so that's why they have this book. And I haven't read it yet, but it is on my list. I will eventually do that. And now you can have a look at Logan take a seat at the empty shelf where I took out all the books. And now my shelf has been completely taken over by Logan. How am I supposed to put these books back? Anyway, let's go to the last one, the very last one. and it is The Kill Jar, Obsession, Descent, and a Hunt for Detroit's Most Notorious Serial Killer. This is another gallery book that I was given. If you are a fan of true crime, highly recommend gallery books. I'm not just saying that because I partner with them. As you can see, a lot of my true crime books are from gallery, and they are fantastic, fantastic books. From the cover to being well known, from all the different topics that they cover. So yeah, definitely recommend gallery book. I don't know too much about this one. Usually before they send me books, they send me like blurbs. And so this one was really captivating. It's about a cold case murder and a bunch of children that were abducted and murdered in Detroit. And this story I am familiar with, but I don't know what happens in this book in particular. If it's just a study, if it's going to be more narrative based, I don't know. I haven't opened it at all. But it does sound super interesting, and it does have like a lot of good reviews, so I have high hopes for it. If you've read it, let me know. Okay, so that is it for my very first mini bookshelf tour. I hope you found it to be fun or interesting. I definitely had fun sharing with you this particular shelf. It is one of my more interesting ones, but I do have a lot more, so definitely let me know in the comments if you want to see more of these kinds of videos, and let me know in the comments if you have like a specific genre that you want to see. Like, cast your vote in the comments. Do you want to see a type of genre? Do you want to see a particular color of a cover? You Bookstagram and book lovers know we organize in a very specific way. So, you know, cast your votes in the comments. Let me know if you're interested. Like this video if you ended up liking it. And yeah, if you want to see other videos, future videos from me, definitely hit subscribe and the notification bell. And if you want to continue supporting me and this channel, you can go ahead and watch another video, or you can check me out on any of the platforms that I have in the description box below. That is all from me today. I will talk to you next week.